Welcome back to Basically Brandon. We are so excited. We have some amazing guests with us from the Secret of Luca, which is going to be playing this weekend at Fresno State. We have the composer, the lyricist, and the star. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So if you would introduce yourselves and your positions with this wonderful new opera.
Sure. I'm Evan Mack. I'm the composer.
Evan, welcome.
I'm Josh McGuire, the lyricist, librettist.
Josh.
And I'm Constantine Pappas. I am the leading role, Luca.
The star of The Secret of Luca. So first of all, this is just such an exciting thing. We were talking inside. It is so exciting that this is an original opera written by you two that we are getting to have the first fully staged production of at Fresno State in our little raisin town, Fresno, which is so exciting. I was just talking to them. I hope they've seen all the sites, Fashion Fair and Fresno State. Fashion Fair is our Times Square, basically, so hope you guys have seen those. I'll make a list of the rest of the places. There's not many. But so first, if someone could tell me a little bit about the story, just a little summary of The Secret of Luca.
Well, when the curtain comes up, it's 1950 Italy, so it's this sort of communist post-war wasteland, and mysteriously this guy is released from prison. Luca is released from prison. He's served 40 years of a life sentence, but he was innocent, actually. So when he's exonerated, he's released, and none of the villagers, where he comes back home, trust him. They don't believe. Where was he?
So this is dark.
It starts out dark.
Okay.
Because he refuses to say where he was on the night of the murders. That's the only reason he was convicted. And slowly, as the story goes, we start to kind of peel back this beautiful romance. And we start to see how Luca was infatuated with this married woman, and all these things start happening. And at the very end of the opera, the secret of Luca is revealed, because we see where he was on the night of the murder.
Oh my gosh, don't tell me.
I'm not going to tell you.
You have to come.
You got to come to Fresno State.
What his secret is. What is your secret? You can't tell me, can you?
I'm not telling you.
Okay.
He signed a contract.
You got to pay to see those. You got to pay. You got to go see it at Fresno State.
Yeah.
So it is exciting because this was originally a 1950s romantic novel by Ignacio Salon, which you kind of have a neat story how you got a hold of this material.
Yeah, so my first opera, Angel of the Amazon, ran off Broadway in New York City. And interestingly enough, people kept coming up to me saying, "What's next? What's next?"
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I was like, "Well, I just finished this." So I started doing some research on different stories, and my father said, "Hey, take a look at this." And my father actually translated this novel into English. And so this manuscript had been sitting there since the 1980s. And I read it and said, "This is my next opera.
Is an opera.
That's it." Yeah.
So what does it take in a story for it to be a good opera? Does it have to be? I mean, I assume there has to be deaths, love, tragedy. What else?
A lot of big, sort of big plot movements usually are key, but usually it's sort of one moment where there's that reveal, and you just say, "This has to be it." And the only way I believe can be expressed is through music, like almost to the point where the novel doesn't do it justice. That only the music can enhance
this story that can take it to the next level for people to be able to connect to it. Oh my gosh, that's so deep. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this is exciting, Constantine. I mean, this is a huge thing for Fresno State. How many lucky students are getting to be a part of it?
Between the cast and crew, there are about 20 students participating.
Wow. And so are these, did they audition for this, or are they all part of the opera program? How did that come about?
First, what we need to do is we register for the class, and then we see what voice types do we have, and what operas might we be able to best incorporate all of these voices.
Yeah.
And Dr. Radford, I believe, befriended you.
Yep.
And found out about The Secret of Luca and went, all right, well, these are the people I think should sing these roles. Let's do a read-through and see how it sounds.
Yeah.
And when we did it, it was
superb.
It was superb.
It was great for us. I mean, because when we wrote it, you sort of have to be very economical when you're creating a product. And so we originally had this cast of 9 people at the smallest forces could be done, doubling roles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to have 15 or 16 performers, just one person, one role, it's instantly enhanced.
You're getting to probably see it in a whole new light.
Absolutely, much bigger and, sort of more forces coming at you rather than this economical vision.
Have you guys loved learning the material? I mean, how neat to be able to be the first people to hold that stuff, to get to learn it and apply it. Are the students enjoying it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We love it. The fact that it's all new music. You just can't go and rely on some recording from the 60s.
Which I would think would be so wonderful, because you're kind of getting to put your own spin on the characters and show these guys, an interpretation of what you would view the characters as. But they're really enjoying it, getting to bask in all this newness and stuff. Is it neat for you guys to be able to come and and watch and see the growth process of your show.
It's mind-boggling.
Of your baby. I mean, this is your guys' baby.
These students in particular, it's like they were made for these roles. Evan and I have been almost creeped out, surprised at how precise they can embody these. How precisely they can embody these characters, and it's really, as you were saying, it sort of toggles with your sense of what's your favorite scene. We don't know what your favorite scene is anymore when you see it.
Yeah, and I came in with some, this is my favorite scene, this is how it is, and then even watching some of the rehearsal, the dress rehearsal last night, completely surprised. It was like, oh, this was what makes the opera. A scene that I thought, well, it could work, and on top of that, it's a. There's a story of young love. So to have these younger students, but have these younger people sort of feeling it and living it every day and then translating to the opera makes much better than having someone much older doing it.
This is exciting.
And when you see something staged, there are spaces in what you wrote that you didn't know existed.
Yeah.
And so to see that suddenly brought to life and animated, it actually teaches you something about your own writing.
So are you guys, as you're seeing this, are there little things where you're like, oh, I want to change that, I want to fix that? Has this been an eye-opening process for you guys, sort of?
I think you're never happy.
Yeah.
But I will say that this opera has reached a kind of critical mass for me, where I really can almost view it as an observer now and enjoy seeing it unfold.
Yeah, and part of that is the luxury of Fresno State and Dr. Radford inviting us out for this almost 2-week residency. I mean, we have the luxury of time to work with these students and go deeper and deeper into the characters that you normally don't have. Yeah, absolutely.
You just pop in and pop out.
And they're
you guys are like students at Fresno State now.
That's right.
I feel 10 years younger. Yeah.
So I was gonna. This is sort of an interesting thing to me. I've always sort of wondered what the balance is between a composer and a lyricist when putting, whether it be a musical, an opera, anything together. Where's the balance? What do you have? What say do you have? What do you have? How do you guys communicate about that?
Somebody asked me the other day. They said, "So, do you and Evan, do the words or the music come first?" And I said, "Yes." Because
yes, to both.
There are times when it's times when it's vice versa, and times when we're sort of side by side at the piano, just experimenting.
And you guys live in different places, so is there a lot of emailing and
late
night phone calling?
And phone, email, Skype, you name it. A lot going on, and so
it's a balancing act.
Absolutely, and sort of coming in, with when we're writing that nothing is too predetermined, because that actually just boxes you in. So when we have these sort of like clay molds, and then it just can become whatever we want based on the words he has, based on this musical idea I have.
Having an open mind about
absolutely,
what's going on.
Absolutely.
Oh, how neat. So and you were saying inside that I liked what you said about, well, we're going to get to this in a second, advice, but that the music always leads the text.
It's a different kind of writing.
That's interesting.
It says, as a writer, you do your best, and then you sort of have to pass what you have through the filter of the music, and a lot of stuff hits the floor.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with that. Because I think if it comes down to a decision, if the text needs to do this or the music needs to do this, then the text has to serve the music.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, no one would know any of the old operas if it were just the libretto.
Yeah.
The music is why we come to the show.
Yeah.
You have to, as a writer, you have to realize that and be participating in that actually from the beginning. It's a different process.
Constantine, you were saying inside it's so neat to be able to work with these guys because, you can't call up Mozart. You can't be like, what were you thinking about this? Just so neat. So have you enjoyed getting to literally sit with them, talk to them about the character, talk to them about the music, and get feedback.
Absolutely.
Feedback on your portrayal of it.
Yeah, it's been so nice to be able to go, I'm seeing this. What were you perhaps envisioning for this? Or I see you put in this dynamic. What happens if I tried this? Does it work? Does it read the same?
Yeah.
And to be able to just pick their brains. Pick your brains, in fact.
Yes, they're here. They're here. Surprise! Everybody gets a composer and a lyricist in the audience. Everybody, put it on the Facebook, Kylie. Okay, but it's so exciting. You get to work with them. It's a very, such a rewarding experience for everybody involved.
Yeah, there's a lot of give and take too. So I've been thinking this. Well, I had this, but let's run with this. Let's explore, see how far you can take it, and it sort of changes my perspective on a lot.
Advice for aspiring composers.
I go by two things. You have to know the rules in order to break them.
Yeah.
And then
quote that. I like that.
And in order, and what Duke Ellington said, if it sounds good, it is good.
Oh,
that's good.
I'm gonna get that tattooed. I like that too. Okay, advice for lyricists.
As I said, be a musician first.
Yeah.
In a real way, in a concrete way, get your musical ear open
Yeah.
before you start. Because, I was talking about this the other day, I was listening to that Stevie Nicks song, Fleetwood Mac, Landslide.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they say, well, even children get older, and I'm getting older, too. Now, if you wrote that down on a piece of paper and said it's a poem, somebody would say, were you high? That doesn't,
What were you thinking? I don't understand.
that doesn't mean anything.
It's
but,
true.
but when you hear it with those chords cycling in the
Yeah.
background and with her voice,
You feel
and
something.
suddenly it's like, oh, well, there's this enormous, realization of your own
Yeah.
mortality because you're a child and you and I.
Yeah.
And that's music. That's
is
actually
music.
not lyrics. That's not actually language. That's music. And so there's this alchemy that I have no idea how it works, but Evan
But
and I
it's
see it.
beautiful,
We enjoy
and
playing
it
with
works,
It's-
and it
yeah.
works.
Yeah, absolutely.
It works. Well, this is such a wonderful thing, and thank you guys
Our
really,
pleasure.
really much
It's a
for
blast.
coming to the
thank you.
Valley to expose people to this. And they have two opportunities they can see, and people really, really need to get out and support this show, and they can see it April 5th. At 8 p.m., which is this
right.
coming Saturday, or April 6th, Sunday at 3 p.m. Sunday, right?
Yes,
So that's
correct.
the 6th.
Sunday at 3,
And
yeah.
and I think this is a really, really neat thing. And it's at what's the location on Fresno State? It's at
The location, it's Fresno State in the music building, the
Wal-
Wahlberg Recital.
Wahlberg Recital Hall, beautiful recital hall. So make sure to get out and see it. And if you're going to get tickets this weekend, you can call 559-278-7593 or the website, which was.
The website, fresnostate.edu/music.
And please go support theater, support these guys, make their trip to Fresno worthwhile. Go see this wonderful show at the recital hall at Fresno State this weekend. It has been wonderful. Thank you guys
Hey,
so
thank
much
you
for
so
coming
much.
to the
Thank you.
show. Thank you
It's been a
so
long
much.
Come to the
Come
show.
see the show. Thank you guys so much.